Welcome to Table Talk. I'm Rich.
And I'm Alex, and today we're going to teach you how to play Jamaica.
That's right. And as you know, we like to pair our board games with beer. So today we are pairing the game of Jamaica, which is a pirate-themed game, with a very, well, it's kind of piratey.
Can we start over?
Yeah, sure. What'd I do? Did you?
No. All I heard was like someone was playing like Scraped a La
outside. That's fine. All right.
I figured.
No, that's good.
All right.
That's fine. As you know, we like to pair our board games with beer, and Jamaica being kind of a piratey racing game, we have paired the game with a somewhat piratey beer. It's called Skeleton Crew, and it's brewed by Foley Brothers Brewing out of Vermont.
A very piratey place.
Very piratey, but it's got a skeleton on it, and there's skeletons on the board, and so it made sense to pair it with that. So without further ado, cheers.
Cheers, matey.
Welcome to matey. Welcome to Table Talk. All right, very good, very good. It's it's an Imperial IPA, so it's
Royal?
Yeah, Royal. The Port Royal.
Was it blessed by the king?
Maybe.
Well, I guess it wouldn't be if he was a pirate. Or no, the king wouldn't be the pirate, but
the king is a pirate.
Yeah.
Pirate King.
Yeah, news out the Pirate King. Which I guess is Johnny Depp or someone.
No, Johnny Depp's not a pirate king.
It was Keira Knightley who became the Pirate King.
Yeah, she became the Pirate King.
In World's
Keira
End.
Knightley?
Yeah, Keira
That's
Knightley.
the sure.
Yeah.
Whatever.
She was like 18 when the first movie came out, by the way. She was like
No, she was not.
Yeah, she was super young.
We're talking Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, the first one.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
At least when they were filming it. I'm sure like obviously they didn't finish it like the whole way.
look how busy this beer is.
Wow. That's like a whole what
so
is that? Is that just leftover I know that happens with sediments.
Yeah.
She caught the back end.
Yeah, this is interesting. So if you're not watching and you're listening, our beer it looks like a snow globe right now. It's got a lot of little bits in it.
Drink it.
Yeah, I'm gonna drink it.
Is it like pulp?
Oh, it's very good actually, but I just don't. Yeah, there's a little sediment in there, and I'm not too worried about it. I'm okay with it. Yours looks fine.
Yeah, mine looks fine. Mine
yours
looks clear.
perfectly normal.
If you keel over, then I'll know why at least.
Yeah. Great. Yeah, thanks.
No problem.
You can explain to everybody why I just kind of conked out. It does. It got a snow globe thing.
Yeah,
going
it does.
All right, so without any further ado, let's tell you how to play the game.
Let's play the game.
You clicked on this video because you wanted to learn how to play Jamaica, and we're going to teach you.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'm red, you're blue.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to go around the board. It's a racing game, so we're racing around the board, trying to move around the board real quick. And then the first one to end gets extra points. And then if you're behind this red line right here, then you get negative points for finishing after somebody else finishes the game. So you got little coins here. The coins are basically the victory points for the game. You have food, you have cannonballs, and you have treasure cards that you'll pick up elsewhere along the game. So basically the game works is you got these little cards, right? You draw these cards. You draw 3 of them. And the cards are going to show you.
Who are you?
I am John Rackham.
I am Samuel Bellamy.
Bellamy?
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 I don't know. Depends on who you Bellamy for that answer. It's a little balmy if you start blaming everybody.
But anyway, so anyway, the cards tell you what to do. There's a day phase and a night phase. Day phase on the left, night phase on the right. So if it's a resource, it tells you can collect that many resources, and that's tied to the die roll here. So when you roll the die, you can select a day phase, you can select a night phase, and that's and then there's going to be movement cards that let you move. See, this one's got an arrow, says you can move forward, and this is the night phase. You can move forward, so I'd be able to move forward 6 in the night phase. So that's kind of how that works. Yeah. Yeah. It's a fun game, and yeah.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah, ask me a question. Ask away.
So I see those gold pieces.
What's,
monies,
yeah,
yes.
I always think pieces of 8,
What? Piece
but
of eight.
I have no idea what pieces of 8 like because there's only one piece.
Is that a pirate? I guess it is kind of a
Is it
piratey
a
thing.
pirated thing?
I thought pieces of 8. So my understanding of pieces of 8 was that it was literally so back in the day when silver coins were so like Spanish silver coins
Yeah.
were actually valued for how much they actually weighed. So it didn't matter how it looked or anything like that. It was just a silver coin was actually like it was worth 8 pieces of some other
Whatever the standard
the standard, right?
in Spain.
So you could literally cut the coin in half to make change, or to cut it into pieces of 8 to make change for whatever that standard
That's so
was.
weird. So like would it be like
Yeah.
would it be like how you take a hunk of deli meat and you do the
Yeah.
slice thing? Is that
Yeah,
how
yeah.
you do it? Or was it
Yeah.
was some guy on the side like
Um,
doing that?
I think it's more like pie, like cutting a pie or a pizza,
Oh, so you like
wedges.
oh, interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
But that at one point though, wouldn't it just like disappear?
Yeah, I guess so. But if you get
I
like
hate to be that guy.
so the idea is how much it like weighs and the quantity of it. So if you only have it's basically like taking a quarter and cutting it down, and then now it's a nickel. So you would understand that wedge of whatever it is basically worth a nickel, and that now that's worth a penny. So if you cut a quarter into 25 different pieces, you would understand that, oh, I have a penny, basically, because this is how small this quarter is. It's basically worth a penny. But it's all based on how much it actually was and weighed. Yeah.
So if I had like a peg leg, how much would that cost me?
If you had a peg leg
Yeah.
made out of silver,
Sure. I want like platinum, like Tony Stark, like Elon Musk, top of the line.
that would be one heavy peg leg, I would think, to carry around with you.
Pieces of 30.
Pieces of yeah, that would
Pieces
be.
of 30.
Well, you could. I guess you could kind of treat that like the salami slicer. You could just throw your leg up and just like.
Yeah, but then you'd have to do a whole thing about learning how to like.
Yeah.
You'd have to recalibrate your body every time.
Yeah, you take one big step and then you go.
Well, okay,
I'm
so
almost like,
so I have read the movie. Have read the movie. Boy, long day. I have read the book Moby Dick,
Right.
which some people have read and have liked. Some people have read and have thrown it across the room in disgust or bewilderment.
I didn't.
I
throw it.
personally loved the book.
Yeah.
But for reasons that may not necessarily be the usual reasons. Here are one of them. One of the reasons. One, he decides to talk about whale blubber
Yeah.
for an entire chapter.
Yeah. Forever.
He also dedicates an entire chapter to the color white.
Yeah.
He dedicates an entire chapter about how to skin a whale,
Yep.
of how whalers would do this. Okay.
Well, identifying whales.
Yeah. The fact,
different-
and then he goes like back in like into the reaches of time in the Roman era. How back in those days, no one could paint them because no one ever saw a whale like as a full whale, because you didn't have like
Right, you just
goggles
saw the
back
top
then.
of
Like
it.
you just saw the top,
Yeah.
or kind of. So you had no idea how big it was.
Right.
So, but one thing that always struck me, what's the captain's name? Ahab. So Captain Ahab, he has a peg leg because the whale, I guess, bit his leg off at one point, and he's stewing away in his cabin.
Yeah.
Because
Because that's all the whale was really hungry for that day was the leg.
I guess it just needed a little
Like a
little
turkey leg type of.
Yeah, but not even like it'd be more like a McNugget, like a crunchy, wholesome McNugget.
Yeah.
But beyond that, so
with
one.
blood sauce.
Ooh,
Okay, sorry.
that's a
Yeah.
took
Took it too far.
That's a little much.
I took
Brett.
it too far.
Nah.
There was the line. We were on the line. I went past
So
the
you
line.
know, I'm gonna be dreaming about
I
this.
apologize.
Yeah, it's all right, but I'm gonna dream about this. No, the thing that always got me in the book is that he has like a place in his. I want to say it's on the ship, the Pequod,
Pequod.
Pequod,
Yeah. With Queequeg.
Queequeg, and
Pequod.
Dagu, and I remember the third. They're all the whalers.
I started thinking.
Tashtego, Dagu,
Yeah,
and Queequeg.
Tashtego is right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Queequeg's the only one I remember just because he's
Queequeg's the head.
cannibal.
Yeah, he's the head hunter. So, but one of the coolest things about that is that Ahab has like a slot on the boardwalk of the boat where he like he puts his peg leg in.
Oh, he just
to
rests
like
there?
yeah no, but it's to
Yeah.
like brace himself so that when they have like rough seas,
yeah.
he can actually kind of grip. Which to me is like that's like the first advent of Velcro,
Yeah.
where like
Yeah.
you know you get a little thing where you kind of harness in.
They
Anyway,
have invented Velcro. Well, then you also had Starbuck,
oh yes.
which is,
Do you think he was Venti or Grande?
I think he was, Venti's bigger, right?
I don't know.
He was probably Grande.
Grande.
Yeah,
like, was he
Venti-
taller than
Venti.
Ahab or no?
I always pictured him, and they probably described him in the book, but I always pictured him kind of like a little taller.
Yeah.
A little hipsterish.
Ooh.
Uh,
Yeah, he's the
kind
one that who like philosophizes.
yeah, he's a little more
Velociraptor philosophizes.
Velociraptor.
Velociraptor.
Just mix
Velociraptor.
Jurassic Park, Moby Dick, into. Well, I guess it is kind of the same thing.
I don't know.
Some sense.
But yeah, before I go off the thing, but
Yeah, Moby Dick isn't even pirates. Why are we talking about Moby Dick?
I don't know. I mean, I guess that was me. That was me. My bad. Okay, so
It's your fault.
All right,
He had a peg leg.
peg leg. All right, so then peg leg. I think eye patch.
Right.
What's up with the eye patch? Do you actually know?
Oh yeah,
the
you don't
reason?
know the eye patch.
I think I know. Excuse me.
I get so proud when I know something and I get to contribute like I actually know it. And this is something I actually do know.
Okay. I suspect I know what the eye patch is
And
for.
it was proven on Mythbusters. And this is why I'm such a knowledgeable person about it, because
Okay.
I watched that show.
Okay.
So the eye patch, apart from just if you lose an eye, you cover up the eye, right?
Right.
It supposedly the eye patch was we're talking about a time when there's no electricity on these boats, people. There is candles, but you don't always want to bring a candle into the hull of a boat,
Right.
where there's gunpowder and all this kind of stuff.
A little fire hazard
Right.
there. Yeah.
So the eye patch was actually, you had one eye that was constantly adjusted to the dark. So when you go down into the hull, you would just flip it over.
Flip it over.
And you had that one eye
Huh.
that was adjusted already. So you
All
didn't have
right.
to wait for your eyes to adjust. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
The good example of this is, so we haven't talked about it much, but my military experience. So in the military, you do
Eye patches?
what's called they issue you eye patches. They don't.
Here's
do
your
that.
rifle. Here's your eye patch.
Any of you out there that are in the military, you'll understand land navigation. That's something that anybody in the military has probably had
like this
experience.
compass thing.
Yes, this is a compass. Yeah. So you need to know what's north, south, east, and west. Obviously, north is up, and south is down. All right. Anyway, but you need to. So land navigation. So they give you light. Like they give you, like I had a headlamp and stuff like this, and they give you flashlights. And then there's certain like you're supposed to use red because that's tactically correct. You don't want to use like a bright light in the darkness.
What do you mean tactically correct?
So red lights are harder. So if you're walking through the woods and you have a bright flashlight, right, white light, then people are going to see that from miles around, right? So technically, if you had to use a light, you should use a red lens light because it's harder. It's harder to detect. So and it still gives you access to see probably what you need to see if it's nearby.
If it's nearby.
Like a flashlight's gonna it's gonna shine for a long ways, and you probably don't need to see something a long ways. You're probably just trying to find like your boot, or
My
the
boots wandered
the
off
MRE
somewhere.
that you dropped in the
Wait,
the
MRE
mud.
is the meal thing.
Yeah,
that
it's
you
the
eat,
meal
right? It's
ready
like
to
pure
eat.
protein. It's like a
Well,
block of protein.
There's a lot of stuff in there.
I figured.
Yeah,
But like the main point is protein, right?
yeah, it's
Okay,
it's
that's what I
protein
remember.
heavy. Yeah. So anyway, but one of the things you learn in land nav is like just don't turn on the light. Like just like when you're walking, like you let your eyes just naturally adjust to the darkness, and you can actually see a lot. You can see a lot in the dark, and this is something probably a lot of people don't know. Like a lot of people just don't go out into the woods at night without anything, and just stand there and see how much they can see. You can actually see a lot. I mean, especially if the moon's out. It's like you can make out stuff. So it's like you don't like, and especially in this day and age, like you get kids going through basic training and stuff that like, their initial instinct is flashlight, get light,
Get
and
the
all that
gear
kind of stuff.
first,
But you
yeah.
can see so much, and it's
Interesting.
actually pretty amazing. So I get the eye patch. Like if you had the like If I had been prepared going into basic training, I would have brought an eye patch with me.
Just only one eye patch.
Yeah.
Don't do both eye patches.
I probably wouldn't have gotten stuck in the shrubbery or the thick.
Did you,
there's like
did
the
you have
thorns.
to cut down a tree with a herring?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
With
Herring.
Yeah.
So I guess my when I think of pirate things, there's the peg leg, there's the eye patch, and then of course
You gonna say it?
what
I think I know what you're gonna say.
treasure.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say hook.
Hook.
Where's the hook?
Hook. No, but we can talk about a hook.
I mean, how uncomfortable would that be?
Well, I mean,
Living life with a hook.
okay. So the important one thing that I at least have some understanding, I think, of the way that the hook thing would work, is that usually it was detachable. So like you're obviously not going to go to sleep with the hook, because clearly if your nose itched and you forgot that one was not a regular hand, that would be very problematic.
Nose piercing.
Yes, and a whole face piercing and your eyeball, and you'd have to use the eye patch after that. The only other thing I can think of, but what I forget is what the original purpose of the hook, other than just having an extra weapon, which is my guess. If you're,
I mean, is it really a weapon?
I mean, if you think about, okay, so if I'm a pirate and I'm engaged in a battle, one, it's physically intimidating. So like they talk about the stories of Blackbeard.
Just a hook hand.
Right. Just I mean, think about you're about to approach someone in the battlefield or the battle sea,
Right.
somewhere in the Caribbean.
Right.
And you have your sword and you're ready to take over the ship, and all of a sudden there's a giant captain man standing with a hook in one hand,
Right.
a sword in the other, or
Right.
a pistol.
Right.
And his hair is like burning, which I don't think
Burning on fire.
well, so Blackbeard, I don't think Blackbeard had a hook for a hand, but what Blackbeard did do apparently is that he would have the equivalent of like almost like incense, like slow burning incense, but he would like, so the legends go, he would like interweave it in his hair, and then he would light it before he would take over ships.
He
to
would
make
set his
him-
hair on fire.
kind of, but it
So it would be like smoking.
it would be smoking. He wouldn't actually burn his hair, but like apparently like that was a thing.
Wow.
I know.
It's like
I
an
know.
intimidation factor.
Yeah,
thing.
intimidating. I mean, if you think about like piracy, I think at least the old days of piracy still happens now, which is an interesting thing I want to bring up later.
Right.
I always like watching pregame sport cheers. My favorite is the New Zealand All Blacks is their team name in rugby. It's the guys that do the haka. Yeah, and they do the thing, which like the as far as I understand, the cultural reference is that it's actually meant to be
pre-war.
Well, it's pre-war, but it's the idea that you do it, you look intimidating to drive you look. I'm trying to remember how I read it.
As
It was,
two guys who have never done this before, this
right.
is our interpretation.
As far as I remember, and I think it had to do with that whale Maori movie that came out in the early 2000s, and I forget what it's called.
Oh, what are you talking? The Disney movie?
No, it's not a Disney movie. It was an indie movie actually made in New Zealand. But the whole thing that the uncle in the story explains, which I'm assuming is true because I think it was written by a Maori writer, or there was some involvement with the Maori people in New Zealand.
Sure.
But the whole thing is that you look evil and scary to drive evil out. You're basically trying to scare evil.
Oh.
So you look scary, but it's not specifically to be scary as it is to drive out bad
This
thoughts,
would be
bad
a
feelings.
good point for the Googler to look up for us about
Maybe so.
why the haka.
Haka, I think is
What's the purpose behind the haka?
yeah.
I think that would be
Which like I know Jason Momoa, who was Aquaman, which is actually a fun movie. Yeah, are you?
that's my
Are you underwater?
aqua.
That's what got. What are you saying? I have more ideas just bubbling up to the surface. Currently, we are talking about pirates. All right, enough of that. So my question beyond the hook is treasure.
Okay. What about treasure?
Where would you bury it?
Where would I
And
bury?
what would you? And I'm sorry, I'm enjoying this mic too much. And what would you bury?
What would I bury and where and how?
No. What would you bury
What would I bury
and where?
and where? My treasure. Oh man. Where is? It would have to be. I think Fiji would be a cool
Good
place
choice.
to bury it because number one, I've never been, so it'll give me an excuse to go. But it's. I mean, does that not make sense?
I mean, it almost feels though like what a squirrel does in Central Park and being like, oh, I haven't been here. I'll bury my acorn here. And like 3 years later, oh, where'd the acorn? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, there's a tree.
Yeah, I never go there, so
And
yeah.
you completely forget.
There is a story about a guy who actually, or these people who found buried treasure, and they found like it was a huge like trap, like it was like layers and layers of wood, and then there was like sand, and there was like trenches, and like they dug so far in the water, like they unclogged like a hole, and water flooded the hole.
Wait, are we talking like Indiana Jones style?
No, this is yeah, it's like real world
Thank you.
treasure hunt. They had like real construction teams out there trying to dig it out. Anyway, that's what I would want to do. I think I would want to I want to go into Fiji, dig really deep, like so deep, deeper than anything. Like I'm not even gonna access this treasure at all. Like I just want to bury it, and then I want to set booby traps so that like true pirate style.
Fire style. Okay.
So like anybody who like actually digs deep and they're like maybe like 2 inches away from finding my treasure, they hit like some like trip cord or whatever, and then everything just tumbles down on top
collapses.
of them.
Now, are we talking like band instruments falling on top of them, or are we
I
talking?
love specifically band instruments. Just picturing a tuba flying down.
Well, then they have to make the sound of their instrument, as
And then you find out that my treasure the whole time was a piccolo. Oh, I don't know.
Yeah,
or something.
I mean,
Yeah.
it's very well said.
The piccolo that my sister played at her high school reunion in 2007.
That sounds so specific.
Yep.
It almost sounds like you're lying. Is that actually true?
Well, my sister does play the piccolo,
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
but
fair.
I don't know when her last high school reunion was.
Okay. So, what would you actually bury, though? I don't. Did you answer that question?
I didn't answer that question.
Yeah,
I
what
don't
would
know
you
what
bury?
my treasure would be. Like it would. I mean, anything besides money. Like I think, what means a lot to me that only I would want to have.
And,
this
well,
is-
no. But here's the thing: only you would want to have, but could part with it for like 15 years because
But
that's
would want to invest in later on.
potentially because that's. I mean, anywhere from like kind of Monte Cristo to Treasure Island.
I think we're looking at it back here.
So like. You're
Board games.
the board games. You
my
would bury
board
the
games.
board games.
I would bury my
Interesting.
board games. I'm a board game lover.
I mean, not to extend the pun, but what's the shelf life of these things?
They could survive underground. It would have to be, it would have to be climate controlled probably.
Okay. Which is not out of the realm of possibility if you
Yeah.
have it in a cave, which makes sense why treasure would have been
Ooh,
in caves.
Buried in a cave.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that. Yeah, I would hide it in a cave, and it would be my games.
Okay, I like
Yeah.
that.
There you go. What about you? What would you bury, and how, and why?
See, my first inkling would be I'd bury my journals because I've written. I write a
What
bunch of
secrets are you hiding?
nothing. Actually, it's just so people don't get over inundated with how much I talk. If you think I talk a lot now, the diary is.
Nobody thinks you talk a lot.
Yeah, well, it's okay. I've learned to embrace this about myself.
It's not at all the reason that we started a podcast. That's just actually.
I want to have a whole episode of podcast, a whole podcast episode. That's better.
I think we can do that. The whole episode
But
podcast.
yeah, it's a whole episode.
I think we're
But
we're managing that.
I want it to be completely silent and like no one talk. All right, I don't think that's gonna work.
All right.
I mean, like you know how like they have like avant-garde music pieces, which I'm like, okay, I'm all for people trying different musical styles. I think if anything, that's where innovation comes from. But we've come to the point now in society, which I think is really funny, where there is a literal quote unquote music composition called silence. And it's a guy, you can look this on YouTube. It's a guy who gets to the piano, does his little like, you know, the tails of the
tail
tux,
flip.
tail flip.
Yeah.
He sits down. He opens the piano thing and puts his hand on the piano keys.
Can we just notice the sound effects?
Yes.
I like the sound effects.
He puts his hand on the piano and does
nothing.
Well, he puts his hand on the piano.
Or his hands on the keys. You know, not like that on the piano, but the keys.
So is he actually like punching?
No,
the
he doesn't.
keys?
No, he doesn't do anything.
He
He
just
literally
lays them?
just does this, and it's like 4 minutes long. It's not even like a minute. It's like
Does he pretend to play or
nope,
just?
it's nothing. He just sits there. It's called silence.
I mean, I think valuing silence is great.
I agree.
There's the whole philosophy, like the Mr. Rogers interview. Like he used to he would ask a question.
Is
the
he
guy,
a pirate?
Yeah, Mr. Rogers. Yeah, that's what
Wouldn't
we're
that-
getting at.
Wouldn't that be the day?
Mr. Rogers is really a pirate.
He's involved in piracy, Mr. Rogers.
He illegally pirated music.
His real neighborhood is buried treasure.
But anyway, the point is he would ask a question. He would do these interviews, right? He would ask the question.
Yeah.
The person would answer it, and then he would just sit there. And then that person would be like, but and then they'd keep talking, and then they'd keep talking, and he would just
Right.
sit there.
Oh, interesting. He let the silence draw
Yeah.
it out.
Yeah. He wouldn't respond immediately.
Yes.
He kept digging by just not responding, and then
Which-
the person felt like they had to fill the silence.
Which I'm totally fine with.
Yeah.
But we're talking the opposite.
Right.
You're feeling this.
I'm saying valuing silence, though.
Oh,
'Cause
yes,
there's a
course.
value there, and I like that.
I have lived now in New York almost 4 years. I definitely have
Yeah.
learned to value what silence
Yeah, I think we
is.
would value more silence during our show.
In
as well.
fact, yes, you can probably hear the pipes, the occasional
Yeah.
car horn,
Yeah.
my back creaking.
Yeah.
Different things.
Yeah,
So,
sniffling.
Yeah, a little sniffling. It
What's
is
our Google update? Did we get one?
Oh yeah, Google. So the haka. We're gonna go back to the New Zealand Maori people. It's a dance. It is described. The haka is a fierce display of a tribe's pride,
Fierce.
strength, and unity, which is great. I think that's super cool. I do not have anything remotely that awesome representing myself as an American Virginian Brooklynite person.
You don't have the Virginia haka?
No. If anything, the closest I have is the Brooklyn subway ride, which is, that's real inspiring.
You know the Muncie, Indiana haka?
No.
Chirp. Chirp. Chirp.
We've gone through this before, haven't we? Is that
Episode
Ball State?
1.
Ball State?
Yeah, Ball State University.
all right.
Chirp, chirp.
I like that. Muncie.
Go Cardinals.
It's good.
Um,
Oh, yeah. So my treasure, I would have gone with journals. I think I would go with something. I'd honestly, and not to do the pirate track, I'd honestly do some trinkets of like stuff of mine that I like,
that's good.
that
That's
have
a good
physical value
Yeah.
to me.
that's exactly what I was trying to think of.
Right.
And you
No. I mean, that's what our office desks are for. I mean, think about it. That's the only place where people put their trinkets. Where
Yeah.
they're like, oh, I have my little medal here. Or I have my little statue bobblehead. whatever.
Lego Wookiee.
Lego Wookiee,
Yeah.
sure. I have a little patch actually from the Brooklyn Grange there, yeah. But like that's what I do. I do trinkets. I think.
Yeah.
I would bury them in the Caribbean for sure somewhere, something accessible, or you know what?
Is
No,
that just because it's historically where people bury things?
maybe,
Or-
but it's also more comfortable.
that's
mean,
where you
it-
want to travel to get your treasure.
Right. If
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
wanna go to,
all
like,
that way to
Alaska.
pick up my trap. Oh, yeah. Well, and plus the ground's hard.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Well, I mean, if you think about the places that are cold, with they call it permafrost.
But it's better protected.
True, but yeah, it is true. It's just harder to like actually.
I'm thinking
dig through.
defensively here.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. I like that.
I mean,
But the whole idea too is that if no one knows where it is anyway, I mean, could you just bury it?
yeah. I guess the whole process of burying treasure is defensive.
Right. It's like you're trying. Right. Exactly.
You don't have
Right.
to add extra defense.
Right.
If you're the only one who knows.
You're the only one who knows. You know, one thing though, I've always thought, and I wish people would talk about this more in New York, is how many islands. Do you know how many islands there are in New York?
In New York, you got
In New York
Staten
City.
Island, you got Long Island,
There
you
you
got
go.
Manhattan.
There you go.
So out of the borough,
Out
Out of the boroughs?
out of the whole city, all five boroughs. How many islands?
3, you got Roosevelt Island, so 4.
Okay,
I would say there's probably 2 others I'm missing, so 6.
you are 34 islands off
Holy cow! What?
now. Okay, so
This is just like the Great Wall of China.
okay, yeah.
this is
So yeah, well, I mean,
Earlier episode where what's the point in guessing? Is it going to be crazy high or crazy low?
see, this is the thing though. Is when I ask these questions now, you got to think just like weirdly astronomical.
Okay.
All right.
It's actually 42 islands. I was wrong. I
Where
got
are
corrected
these
in the
islands?
Googler. So the what we actually live in New York, which I've always found fascinating because we always forget this with the subway trains and the skyscrapers. Heck, I mean my commute is I go out of my apartment, I walk like 4 blocks, go on a subway, I travel to Manhattan, I get out of the subway, I go to the office, I spend time at the office. I come back. I go back in the subway, and rinse and repeat.
Right.
I don't see any of the rivers. I don't see the fact that Manhattan is actually an island.
Right.
And what we actually live in is an archipelago. So similar to our last episode, we talked about Japan. Japan is actually an archipelago, or the Greek islands are like archipelago. So imagine that, but like super micro, and that is New York City. So that's actually part of the reason why New York's history.
Archipelago meaning groups of islands.
Correct.
Okay.
Usually tight. Usually really in a close
Just
proximity
to
together.
clarify.
Right. I think Hawaii.
Because it's a big word.
It is a fun word to say. Archipelago.
Archipelago.
Archipelago. I think Hawaii is an archipelago as well. But basically, it's like a chain of islands that exist all together, and it's usually connected to some continental shelf, landmass, whatever. But it's actually a big reason why New York became so powerful so quickly economically was because all like Manhattan is like perfectly placed as an island where you have Long Island and Staten Island buffering all the effects of the ocean for the most part, and you also have the Hudson and the East River going right to the sides of it.
Right.
So it's perfect for shipping. So like the world's shipping lanes ended up going in New York, connected with Canada, the rest of the United States. So like
Where are these other 36 some islands?
they're all around. I mean, you honestly, a lot of people don't even recognize that Roosevelt Island is a thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean that one. You got Liberty. You got Ellis.
Liberty Island was the one I was thinking of. That's why I gave myself a buffer of 2.
Right. No, you're right. Some of the islands, though, are only exposed during low tide. Some of them are like almost like shoals where like the seagulls.
Okay, well, that's just sneaky.
But it is an island. It is an island.
just
It does
sneaky.
count.
But we're okay. Then we might be focusing too much on this.
It's
but,
okay. There's North Brother Island and South Brother Island. You should look it up because their history
Brother.
is crazy.
South brother.
So anyway, you should look it up. It's fun.
Okay.
A lot of islands. So this island.
Jamaica.
Can we talk about Jamaica a little bit?
We can talk about Jamaica. The only thing I know about Jamaica is that they had a bobsled team, run by John Candy.
Like that's the only thing you know about Jamaica?
I mean, I'm aware of
who is
their
one of the world's most famous musicians. First name, Bob.
Bob Marley.
There you go.
I guess I don't really associate. I mean, it makes sense that but I associate him with music in general, and
not specifically Jamaica.
Not specifically Jamaica. Usain Bolt. I guess I associate that.
I have seen him jog to the finish line, and he still beats everybody.
Right.
That man is lightning.
Right. Which we just talked about the Olympics last episode.
In the last episode. Check it out.
Know, is he still running?
That man will be like 85. And he'll
Still
finally
beating people?
decide to run, and then he'll
He's like,
still win.
yeah, actually.
Like if you look at
now.
honestly though, if you look at instant replays of him like crossing the finish line, he
ridiculous.
slows down each time. It's like he's not actually like I keep thinking like, what is he waiting for?
And how appropriate is the last name of Usain Bolt? Like how
Is that his actual last name though?
I don't know. He might have changed it,
Because
but
that's what I wonder.
if it's his real last name, that might be something to Google. But if it's his real last name, like how perfect is that?
It's electrifying.
It's like my name being Richard Board Game. With how much I love board games.
I was going to say Richard Awesome.
Or
but,
Richard Awesome.
Yeah.
But instead I got Richard Bray, which is the sound a donkey makes.
Which is where we let the silence fill.
This is where the silence fills.
The silence fills in gloriously.
So
That's all right. My last name is Barker, and I
it's his real name. His real name is
Usain Bolt.
And he's faster than the speed of light. So
It's perfect. He was
talk about living up to your name.
and I think a lot about that with names where like even like Blackbeard, like okay, so this is what
not his given name.
maybe not, but like
Don't
but
think so.
but here's the thing is like how did pirates decide their names? Like, what was the like? Because like, okay, so there's in Oh Brother Where Art Thou? There's that whole moment with the bank robber's name is Babyface Nelson,
Right.
But he hates being called Babyface.
Yeah, it's a name that was given to him.
Right, it was given to him.
It's a
So
nickname.
I always wonder, like, okay, was Blackbeard? Did he decide on the name, or did like his shipmate who was like, I want to go up a notch in authority on the ship? He's like, hey, Billy. We'll say his name was Billy before, Captain Billy.
Right.
I got a better name for you, Blackbeard, and then he gave him a piece of 8 for that.
A piece of 8.
Yeah. Have you read Treasure Island?
Yes.
Okay.
Uh,
So I've
Yeah.
read Treasure Island as well, and it's an amazing adventure story. But I always love like the name Long John Silver.
perfect name
Like
for a pirate.
It's the whole like one syllable, two syllable. Like I've often thought it in really good, especially pirate stories.
Yeah.
And we can talk about it later, but like Captain Barbossa.
Captain
Barbossa. I mean,
Yeah.
there's like the 2 syllable to 3 syllable carry. Like there's an interesting relationship where if you put too many of the same syllable name, I don't know, like and for whatever reason, good pirate stories are really good names. Like you can, like chew
Yeah.
on
Yeah, yeah.
internally. Like Long John Silver, such a good name.
Long John Silver.
Yeah.
Blackbeard.
Or Captain Smollett.
Captain Barbossa.
Yeah.
Smollett.
Captain Smollett. He was the captain of the ship before it got
That's right.
yeah. I think
right.
that was the name. Yeah.
Captain Hook.
Captain Hook, of course.
Yeah.
And then of course there's the gangplank, or walking the plank.
I never understood walking the plank.
No,
No, I don't get it.
do you think that's where diving first came from? There had to be some person that's just like, I'm gonna go out in
Yeah,
style, and it was like, ooh,
You want me to do this? I'm gonna do a swan dive.
a swan dive. Everyone thought he was crazy, and then he swam around the boat and like held on for dear life. Swam.
Swam? Is that right? Swam?
No,
Swam?
it's hard to say.
That's all right. No, I didn't mean to
He
call you out.
doggy paddled.
He doggy paddle. He pirate paddled.
Pirate paddled.
Yeah, I don't know. Do we know why walking the plank happened, or why that became a thing? Okay, we do. Let's just
We
do
have
that now.
some updates.
Let's just do that now.
Thank you. All right. Walking the plank is pirate lore, and it's just that. Robinson Crusoe scribe Daniel Defoe, I've read that book, it's interesting, was the first English writer to make his characters, quote, walk the plank in his book, A General History of the Pirates, and pirates is spelled with a Y. There is no historical proof of this, and in fact, real pirates during the 17th and 18th centuries were fonder of equally unpleasant punishments, such
Right.
as flogging and marooning.
That makes more sense.
That makes a lot more
The
sense.
marooning definitely makes more sense, but we're talking. I mean, this is something we can get into as well. Real life pirates versus Hollywood pirates. Like real life pirates, these guys were not good guys. We're talking some really weird stuff that's going on with these guys.
Yeah.
So walking the plank just seems like a Hollywood invention to me. Like probably not.
Or in this
something
case, a novel invention.
Yeah, literature invention. Well, like, yeah, just like a simple way to say they killed him or they didn't like him, so they got rid of him. Type of.
I mean, it's dramatic. That's nice. Like,
It is
it's got
dramatic.
a cool endpoint to
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, what are your last words? Poke you with a stick and you
Right,
fall into
right,
the water.
exactly.
Yeah.
Or that line from Pirates is Caribbean. He's like, too long, and then he knocks her off. It's like that was
Yeah.
pretty good.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm always fascinated too with the idea of being marooned.
With one bullet.
Oh man, like I even think about the concept of marooning, where I can definitely see the justification that pirates would do that would use this to like their other mates that would either try mutiny or whatever, because it's basically saying like, I'm not killing you, but I'm not saving you either,
Right.
and it's just kind of,
Yeah.
we'll see what happens.
My hands are clean.
Hands are clean, and you can get away with it and
Yeah.
just move on. And you think about how many islands there are dotted around in the Caribbean. Not as many as like Indonesia, Micronesia area.
Arpeligos.
I don't know if it's an archipelago.
Archipelago.
That's a good question. I don't know.
No.
But yeah, it's interesting. The marooning, the whole aspect of marooning is just
And can you imagine just sitting there and being like, well,
I mean,
I'm stuck.
here's the only problem with marooning is like I think in my
It's close to
With
red,
what-
but not red enough.
I think I would, in my sanity, I would just shoot off that one shot. I'd just be like, no, not doing this. This isn't an option. Shoot it off. And now,
Like not at your head, but like
no,
like
just shoot it off
away.
into the air.
You shoot
Like,
at the ship,
Yeah, maybe. And then you shoot a ship. Whatever. Odds are you're not going to hit anything. But
hit the cannon.
like, don't even leave it as an option. That way, like, because that's the whole point of it, right? It's like, oh well, like you always have the option to like end your life with the
Right.
one bullet. So just get rid of it. Gone. I'm like now my only option is to survive or die of starvation, and I think it'd give me more incentive to survive.
Oh, I see. So instead of the easy way out,
Right.
you would be able to like fight it.
Don't wait, right? Just grab the pistol, shoot it off into the air. Now it's not even an option anymore.
Interesting. I would save the bullet, certainly not for myself, but I would save it in case there was like an animal or
But
something.
that's the trick, though. No animal comes along. You still got a bullet. Now you're a little more depressed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm just saying, like,
This
the,
is-
the second I come trouncing out onto the beach from the water, and I'm like in my piratey gear with all of my jewels and everything on,
Yeah.
just grab my pistol and
yeah.
it's gone. Like, I don't even have to think about it. It's not even an option.
So-
Like, this gun might as well just be like something I can throw into the fire for heat. Like, it doesn't matter.
I can just see Mr. Bray being dropped off in
Is
the
that my
ship.
pirate name?
Mr. Bray. Sure, why
I
not?
can do a better pirate name. How about Captain Moose? I like that name.
So when you think of pirates, obviously you think of the hook, you think of the hand, or the
Hook, the hook hand,
the hook hand, the eye patch,
leg,
the peg
eye
leg,
patch.
and then inevitably you talk about pile on a cracker. You think about a parrot.
Right.
Now, would you do a traditional parrot route, or would you be more like Barbosa and go with a more
the
non-traditional shoulder pet?
shoulder pet.
And it actually has to like actually be able to stand on your shoulder. Like you can't say I want a horse.
So, a little pony, a miniature horse on my shoulder.
No, or just like a full size horse. You can't choose that. It doesn't work that way.
Oh my God.
It has to be an actual animal that can fit on your shoulder. Go. What would it be?
Komodo dragon.
That's borderline.
It can fit on your shoulder.
All right. Does it?
Komodo dragon.
Okay. Have you read about Komodo dragons?
They're
though?
big.
Yeah, but do you actually like know about them?
No, I don't.
If
Don't.
it takes one nip of your ear, you're basically dying of bacteria. Like they secrete.
Well, mine is trained.
Yeah, a trained Komodo dragon.
I'm sorry, I assumed that was part of it.
Oh, okay. Well, okay.
It's like a wild Komodo dragon.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.
On my
That's fair.
shoulder.
Okay,
I mean, it's the
all
same with a monkey, right?
Yeah,
Like, if
that's
you-
true. Yeah, you wouldn't want a wild
Yeah,
monkey.
just like
Yeah, attacking you.
just throwing feces at your ear all the time.
Why is that always a thing?
Why they throw feces?
Yeah, but no, that's always the joke. I never understood it. Is that just like a
'Cause it
thing they do
happens.
in zoos?
Well, I know I've seen it happen at zoos, but
All right, yeah.
they throw feces. I don't know why that's their projectile of choice.
Maybe because no one's taught them baseball. Wait, so I want to make sure that we've answered this shoulder pet pirate thing. So you said
Komodo
Komodo
dragon for me. What do you want?
I would go with a traditional parrot, man.
No, you can't do parrot. You
No.
do something else.
Fine. I would do no. Okay, I do straight up bald eagle.
Bald eagle.
Yeah.
You think I'm pushing it with a Komodo dragon?
Yeah. If you're gonna go Komodo dragon, I'm gonna pull out all the stops. Bald eagle, people. That's
Bald
what I'm doing.
eagle
Yeah.
on trained bald eagle.
I trained bald eagle, and here's why. So first of all, I would have to get a shoulder pad because if you ever seen eagles' talons,
Right.
they're like basically knives connected to their toes. But you know what's helpful about a bald eagle that a Komodo dragon could never do? It can go fishing.
Okay, a fly.
Right, go
Number
fishing.
one.
Yeah. So he can fish for me. So I'll be like, hey, I feel like a snapper today.
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah.
And
Go grab
Mr.
you something.
and Mr. America, because that's what I called, bald eagle, because
Yeah.
But
Bald eagles never experienced, and this might be a completely inaccurate quote, but bald
okay.
eagles never experienced the ocean.
They are coastal dwelling usually, so they
But it's not like they're like those,
straight out
those
in the middle of the
birds that
ocean.
you see like out in the ocean that
Oh, like
live in the
albatross.
ocean.
No,
So
no, no.
albatross, yes.
That's what
yeah.
boats are for, so they
Right.
can they can chill out in the crow's
So
nest.
you're taking a bald eagle out into the middle of the
Yeah,
ocean.
you're taking a Komodo dragon. Where does the Komodo dragon belong?
It's not gonna do anything in the ocean though. It's just there for intimidation purposes.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's
Well,
like,
I mean,
don't talk to the captain. He's got a
he's
dragon.
got a Komodo dragon.
No, just like people will be kind of coached to say he's got a dragon.
So you drop the Komodo
Drop the
part,
Komodo,
and
like,
you just call it a dragon.
yeah.
Well,
Because
I like that.
He's got a dragon.
I like that.
Don't piss him off. He's got a dragon.
Dragon. Yeah, I like that. A little fire breath there. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's good. All right, I like that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Um.
Got any questions for me?
What? Well, you talked about Treasure Island, but what's your what do you like the most about Treasure Island? What besides the name Long John Silver? What did you?
Oh,
like?
I just love the kid actually having a significant part in the story, where he first becomes like this kid of like he goes from like being like carried along in the story to actually playing a part. Like once he overhears Long John's plans in the apple barrel,
starts acting against him.
and then he starts acting, but it's a complex relationship because he like Long John is a really charismatic dude, and yet like he knows like yeah, but he's still a pirate.
Right.
Which I think is an interesting, especially back then. Like, it's interesting that Stevenson decided to like take a complex route of relationship,
Not just the stereotypical pirate.
right?
Like,
But he made it his father figure, which is like, and someone he admired. Which
I didn't know that. That's cool.
yeah. So like, I think the kid is, I forget the kid's name. What's his name?
Charlie.
Yeah, you're right. It's a single name. I don't know if it's
Charles.
It might be. Either way.
Might be a chocolate factory involved.
I love how that, and the pacing of it is really fun. You have to get through like the first 4 chapters. If you're not, and I always encourage this for people with reading.
Yeah.
Classics are really hard language-wise.
Right.
But you have to like once you get through like usually it's like 4 chapters. It doesn't matter if it's Count of Monte Cristo, if it's Treasure Island, or Kidnapped, which is also Stevenson. It usually takes about
Frankenstein.
4 chapters in. If you can hang in there for that long and then read the rest, it's fantastic because those stories are great.
But doesn't Treasure Island open with the black spot?
Yeah, it opens at the end.
I mean, as far as like classic novels go, that's a pretty good opening.
Oh, it's great.
It's
opening.
like hanging on the edge of your seat.
Yeah.
Like, what is a black spot?
Yeah.
Like, you're gonna
Honestly, like
die.
really, really good stories like Treasure Island gives you questions immediately
Right.
that they don't always answer. Because I don't even think they answer what the black spot is. It's just a mark.
Yeah,
that-
and
that-
you more or less assume that
it's
it's not good.
Like an evil omen or something like that.
Right.
But I like when you, I mean, even pirate stories in particular are, I think, specialties of this because the islands are so vast in number in the area and so fairly unknown or unexplored by these different pirates, and it's raiding and it's pillaging and it's all these things. And a lot of things not so good.
A lot of bad things.
A lot of
yes.
bad things. But within that, there's sort of like a mysteriousness of like what's on this island, what's on that island,
Right.
what's on that island. I remember as a kid, like I go down in North Carolina in the Outer Banks area, and the Outer Banks is interesting because it's a chain of islands that all extend far out from the mainland of.
About 42 of them.
Maybe not that many, something along those lines. But they're barrier islands, so they are basically they keep the mainland from getting pounded by the surf. But because of that, it makes for some really cool beaches along the way. But I remember as a kid and taking this little boat that I guess the house had that my parents would stay at, and my dad and I would explore the islands in between the mainland and the barrier islands. So there's like these little chain of islands like in between the island and the mainland.
Is this involving Roanoke Island?
No, that is in fact northern.
That's north of
That's
that?
north of North Carolina, which is a funny
North of North
Carolina. No
But
one
didn't
ever
you say
said.
Virginia? Oh, that's right.
No,
okay.
no, it's okay. No, I'm
Sorry.
from Virginia, but my mom actually grew up in North Carolina.
Oh, okay.
So that's where the North Carolina aspect
Okay.
comes.
All right.
Good place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a cool place.
I mean, we've been talking about Pirates of the Caribbean. Kind of makes me want to go see Pirates of the Caribbean.
You want to go see Pirates of the Caribbean 4 or 5?
5?
Or
Which
however.
one's Dead Man's Chest? I think we do have a Google update, actually.
They got Dead Men Tell No Tales. Dead
Dead
men
tell no tales.
Oh. All right. This is my words, or sorry, our Googler's words, not mine. Pirates of the Caribbean. Keira Knightley was 17 when filming Pirates of the Caribbean.
What?
Orlando Bloom was 26. And again, her words, not mine, robbing the cradle. So, you know, and it's funny because I sometimes, like, when Keira Knightley, like, pops up in these different movies I see, like, oh, hey, Keira Knightley.
There she is.
I always am like, how is she still so young?
Right.
Like,
That is
she
true.
looks really
I guess
young.
I
don't-
believe it because it's. I
and
mean,
I don't
it's
think
on
she's
Google.
30 yet
But
at this point. She might be. Well, hold on. If Pirates of the Caribbean came out in 2013, that would have been 16 years. So, yeah, she's past 30 at this point. But, like
it's impressive.
Yeah, it is. It is
Yeah.
impressive.
17 years old. That's a big role.
Heck of a way to start your career.
Yeah.
I mean, based on a Disney ride?
Yeah. Here we are starting a podcast. 30 years old. Yeah.
30 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No bitter
No,
feelings.
no, not at all.
We should go watch it.
You wanna go watch it?
I mean, which one are they on? They're on 6, 5, 4, 10.
I think they want to make 6 at this point.
Kind of like Land Before Time at this point. There's like a bajillion of them.
Hey, Fast and Furious just came out with their 9th. Fast and Furious 9, people, just dropped their trailer. Get ready. We're going to have to beat Disney somehow. Like, Disney has like 7 of 10 of the highest grossing movies this year. It's insane.
Oh my goodness. Well, I think we should go watch it.
All right, let's watch it.
You want to go?
Yeah, well, let's finish up, though.
Oh,
You know,
sorry.
finishing, you know.
So, well, we hope you appreciated learning how to play Jamaica, the board
right
game.
here.
It's a very fun game. Highly recommended. My wife has beat me at this game at least 18 times.
Congratulations
She's very good at it.
to her, not you.
Her, yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations to her.
Yeah,
She's
congratulations
very
her.
good. She's very proud of it.
Good.
And
Well,
she should be.
And one other thing, too, guys, you can please be sure to like, subscribe. Definitely comment. If any of these
Definitely.
ideas that we've talked about, including the game, is of interest, we'd love to hear your opinions.
Treasure Island.
Yeah. Etc.
Pirate flags. We didn't even talk about why they have skull and crossbones.
Why do they have the skull and crossbones?
I have
Real
no
quick.
idea. I think
No
it was
idea.
Jolly Roger, and then I don't know, but it's been
What they don't talk about is Unjolly Roger, but that's a whole nother person that we won't talk.
Jolly Ranchers.
That's probably where they got that.
Not a sponsor. All right. Well, thanks for listening. Until next time,
Be happy
brew happy.
and game
Game on, guys. Have a good day.
Bootstrap Bill, you're a liar. And you will spend an eternity on this ship.
There's a guy that kept bringing